back to you and you can go through them like a hot knife through butter. But yeah, on her day she can win a race of this nature. She's a rainbow. I'm just of the opinion that she might just need one more on the high felt. You would be saying to me, but listen, it's third run after the race. Surely she should be cherry ripe. I just get the feeling watching her replays, watching the way she's moved down to the start, that perhaps she might just need one more on the high felt before we can be overly confident with She's a Rainbow, who's now at 17-2. And then before they start loading up, which will be any moment now, I thought I found some value in this sort of a race. A horse called Dancing Arabian. Jared Penny gets the ride for Roy Magna. The current price at the moment, number 7, 22-1. Look, she ran a very good race behind Escape Artist on the 18th of March. She would have needed that last run back on the 23rd of May. It will be second run after the rest, but I think if the speed is good and Jared can sit tight on Dancing Arabian at about 22-1, you can't get hurt. So that's probably where my each way selection is going to go.
At effort, Abida Mathan in the black and white jacket. Well, 2 from 2 on his last 2 visits to Foss. That's run here 4 times in all, but his only 2 chase wins, his only 2 wins for that matter in this country, have come here. They're about to come in. The starter has raised his flag.
Good and Jared can sit tight on Dancing Arabian at about 22-1. You can't get hurt. So that's probably where my each way selection is going to go.
At effort, Abida Mathan in the black and white jacket. Well, 2 from 2 on his last 2 visits to Foss. That's run here 4 times in all, but his only 2 chase wins, and they're off, have come here. Away for this JCP Solicitors handicap chase over 2 miles 3.5 furlongs, and Abida Mathan in the centre has often made the running and leads at the first. Just a Holiday Ridge in the dark blue sleeves. Aces Full in the black and yellow striped jacket, followed by Estilic and Chain Smoker as they jump the last in the back straight and all safely over. So Abida Mathan and Jack Tudor for David Pipe, Holiday Ridge, Harry Cobden in second place, then 2.5, 3 lengths away Aces Full, aboard whom Sean Bowen seeks a double following his win on River of Joy. Then Estilic in the red, white disc and yellow jacket of Chain Smoker in the hands of Tabitha Worsley. So turning left-handed and approaching 4 fences in the home straight. Abida Mathan drawing towards this one from the recent course and distance winner Holiday Ridge, who won here 12 days ago. Seemed to appreciate the good ground that day. Over next, Aces Full, who drops back in distance, having travelled quite well at Huntingdon for a while last time. An open ditch now, Abida Mathan and Holiday Ridge in the air together. A mistake from Chain Smoker at the back of the field. On down towards the next. And Abida Mathan just the leader from Holiday Ridge. Then behind those Estilic, followed by Aces Full and Chain Smoker. Over the one in front of the stands. And all safely over, getting a little bit strung out with Chain Smoker puffing and panting at the back of the field, a little bit detached with a circuit to go. And it's Abida Mathan from in second Holiday Ridge, and they've got about 5 clear of Estilic and then Aces Full and Chain Smoker. Field just closing up a little bit as they head towards the back straight. There's almost half the distance now between first and last than there was. And Abida Mathan still making it from Holiday Ridge. Jack Tudor and Harry Cobden. 3 or 4 lengths to Estilic and James Best on the inside of Aces Full, and then Chain Smoker. On towards the next. Field just closing up a little bit. Abida Mathan first up. Holiday Ridge in a bit tight, but was clever. On to the next plain one. Abida Mathan by nearly a length on takeoff, but not too much in it on landing. Third is Estilic. Aces Full being pushed along by Sean Bowen, and then the Chain Smoker over this open ditch. Abida Mathan, a slightly better jump than Holiday Ridge. on towards the last two in the back straight. Bayard Mathin, Holiday Ridge, about a length down in second. Estilic now being woken up behind these, and Ace is full, and finally Chain Smoker. So the first two here have got the other three struggling a little bit, flat out. Estilic still in touch though in third place. Ace is full has dropped about 4 or 5 lengths further back now as they swing into this left-hand turn. Bayard Mathin by half a length to Holiday Ridge, who moves up alongside again, rounding this turn. Estilic is within 3 or 4 lengths, but looks absolutely flat to the boards in third. Then Ace is full, who seems to have run his race, and Chain Smoker. So running into the home straight now, beginning to look like a duel between Bayard Mathin and Holiday Ridge, even though Estilic is still battling on in third. It does find the pressure for James Best, running down towards the fourth last. Bayard Mathin by a length to Holiday Ridge. Estilic sticking to the task over this one, and now on towards the open edge. Bayard Mathin seems to have beaten off Holiday Ridge at this stage. Estilic still fighting on as they jump 3 out. Bayard Mathin up well and over by 3 lengths. Oh, and Jack Tudor having a long look round there. He sees his fellow rider James Best rowing away on Estilic at the second last, and Bayard Mathin is clear over it from Estilic in second. Way back in third, Holiday Ridge, and then Chain Smoker. Ace is full has been pulled up. Bayard Mathin comes towards the final fence and is safely over from Estilic in second place, and on the run for home, Bayard Mathin and Jack Tudor. They're going to make all the running. A third course and distance win for this horse. Foslas loves it here. Bayard Mathin wins. Estilic stuck to the task grimly in second. Way back in third, Holiday Ridge from Chain Smoker. As I say, Ace is full was pulled up.
Low mileage. I think there's a bit more to come from her yet.
Number 5, Shanaz, is the filly ridden by Laura Coughlin for Gemma Tutty. She's got a good strike rate here at Hamilton Park. When we spoke to Laura earlier on, she was expecting another big run.
Yeah, and the key to that might be back on firmer terrain with the cheek pieces back on. Those conditions with the headgear seem to suit her really well. She bounced back to something like her best form last time out at Pontefract when she was staying on third to Western S. She's back up in trip here, and she's also now 4 pounds below her last winning mile. There's a decent chance, I think.
And just coming towards us now is, just into the paddock now, is number 7, Havana Party. He has got the penalty for the win at Ayr on Monday when he was equipped with blinkers for the first time.
Yeah, and it puts him back up to the same mark from which he won this race 12 months ago. He's been competitive higher marks in the past, and this is very much his time of year, Gordon. All three career wins have come in the month of June. Leading chance, providing he copes with a quick turnaround of 3 days here.
And there you have it then, a selection of horses in the paddock ahead of race 3. Number 3 for the win at Ayr.
And there they are on their way down. That's Havana Party, 3 days after the win last time at Ayr. Billy Garrity back in the saddle. We heard from Laura Coughlin earlier. Sole rider today on Shanaz, who is 4-1, riding for Gemma Tutty, looking to improve on the run at Ponty last time. Maybe a little bit further will suit. So that has tried it before. That was on heavy ground. Raven Glass, 13-2, 6-1. Zarabanda, Shine on Brendan, 7-1, 16-1, and bigger the rest. So, Gordon, 11-8, Havana Party, under the penalty. Interesting comments from Laura Coughlin to you earlier on Shanaz. And then Raven Glass is the horse in shots, around about 13-2. All yours.
Yeah, one that we didn't see in the paddock. We can see they're down at the start, safely down at the start. Number 3, Raven Glass for Oisin Orr and Richard Fahey, a horse that was at Hamilton Park last time over, slightly shorter, but only beat 3 home that day.
Yeah, that was in the Sunday Series race, Gordon. So that was a 0-90. The race won by Pisanello here. That was 4 weeks or so ago. It was a little bit disappointing. He was quite well fancied for that race, but I think he's better judged on his 2 previous third-place finishes this season. Up to the Progressive on the River at Pontefract, and then in a class for Newcastle the time before that. I think on that form that gives him a decent chance here, particularly return to these conditions, Gordon, because his back-to-back wins last summer came on ground that was on the quick side of good, and a £2 drop for That latest run puts him just a couple of pounds above his last winning mark as well. So I think he's very much a player here, Gordon. I would be inclined to give him pass marks last time.
Yeah, it was interesting speaking to Laura Coughlin earlier on, wasn't it, about Shahnaz? She says she loves this place, and they're expecting a big run. Gemma Tutty in attendance as well.
Yeah, well, Shahnaz isn't a particularly highly rated horse, just a mark of 65, but he does seem to gel and go really well for Laura Coughlin, because she was on board for two of her wins, I should say, last season. Things I think have just taken, she's taken a bit of a time to come to the boil so far this time, but she
looks magnificent.
Yeah, she does. She really does. She stood out in the paddock as well, and I think it's just taken a while to come to the boil this season, but that has by and large been on slower conditions, and I thought there was definite signs of a return to form last time at Pontefract, where she did do all of her best work late on over a mile, back up in trip here, and I think crucially those cheap pieces go back on as well this afternoon. That's the headgear that she's worn to victory before, so I think off a very workable mark, £4 below her last winning mark, which came at Carlisle in August of last year, but she's won twice here over slightly shorter. I think she's got a lot in her favour, Shahnaz.
I think the race though does revolve around the horse now who's being equipped with the hood for stalls entry. This is the Monday winner at Ayr, Havana Party. If he's come out of that race okay and he's in the same sort of form, he could take some stopping. Yeah,
no worries about the mark. Even with that penalty, he's won off this mark before, including this race 12 months ago. We know he goes very well here at Hamilton Park. Conditions should be absolutely fine for him. I did think he was given a very well judged ride by Billy Garrity there on Monday as well, and I think that played a fairly significant part in his victory, Gordon, but he's been competitive off higher marks than he races off here before, and he's got a decent enough draw, hasn't he, in stall 3 to get a good position, a positive forward position here. It's just whether he bounces, whether he's able to produce his best perform just 3 days later. I don't think he's been turned around so quickly before in his career, but one thing he does come here is absolutely in peak form. A quick mention as well for Zara Banda as well, who's low mileage, bit of a messy race I think last time at Ayr where we didn't see the best of her, but she ran well here when she didn't get the clearest of runs in one of those Sunday Series races, and I think on the balance of her maiden winning form, I think she's still off I think she might be off a decent mark going into handicaps this season.
Almost set then for race 3 as we go back up to Darren for the first going round the famous loop, Darren.
Indeed, yeah. 9 furlongs the journey here. There's Jack Hammer going in. So Jack Hammer loads all in. And they're off. Away smartly to the inside with Shine On Brendan, with Shahnaz going forward, as are Zara Banda, Wadacre Grace, and right up the inside is Havana Party, the Monday winner, and it is Shahnaz and Havana Party, Zara Banda, Shine On Brendan and Wadacre Grace. Zara Banda just faltering a little bit there as they go around the loop. Back in mid-division, blue and yellow jacket of Rogue Force, followed by Jack Hammer, Golden Valor, and Ravenglass is held up. So it is Shahnaz who makes the running as they go on up the hill and leads now by around about 3 lengths. Havana Party, last year's winner, sits in second place. Similar margin to Shine On Brendan, white cap third. Zara Banda, almost black colours there, in 4th position. Up along the inside, Rogue Force, followed by Wadacre Grace to the outside. Break of around about 2.5 lengths to Jack Hammer and Golden Valor, and Ravenglass continues at the back. So they're turning into the straight and approaching the 5 furlong pole, and it is Shahnaz who has the lead over Havana Party and Billy Garrity. Shine On Brendan on the inside of Zara Banda and Jason Watson, and then comes Wadacre Grace in the black and yellow now, making progress on the outside there for Joe Fanning. Further back to Jack Hammer. Ravenglass is starting to make a spot of progress as well. Second last now is Rogue Force, Golden Valor the back marker as they come on up the hill to the final quarter of a mile, and Havana Party has cruised into the lead, now being followed by Wadacre Grace. Shahnaz to the inside, then Shine On Brendan. Ravenglass called on for an effort inside the final quarter of a mile. Havana Party just looking over to that far running rail, but leads by 2 lengths with Shine On Brendan in second place, so it's looking good for the owners at the moment. 1 and 2 heading down towards the last furlong, and it's Havana Party, Shine On Brendan, but Jack Hammer's coming there, staying on down the outside for Paul Mulrennan. Jack Hammer's the finisher on the wide outside, and Jack Hammer has got there. Perfectly timed. Jack Hammer denies Shine On Brendan. Havana Party, Shahnaz and Ravenglass follow.
so good at delivering horses. Right on the stick late on in the race is Paul Mulrennan, and he's judged it again to perfection. He has won on Jack Hammer, whose last 4 wins had come at Carlisle. Now he's a winner at Hamilton Park. Shine On Brendan had just taken over from co-owned Havana Party and got chinned by Jack Hammer. Shine On Brendan second, Havana Party was third, Ed, and it was the long-time leader Shanaz that took fourth.
Yeah, well judged right by Paul Mulrennan coming from the back of the field.
Look where he's come from.
He has. I think they've just gone a little bit too hard up front, haven't they?
He's had to come wide too.
Has kicked on a good way from home. Havana Party was pretty keen early doors as well, wasn't he? His rider, Billy Garrity, was just making sure that he dropped in and just tried to get him to settle. He struck for home far enough out. It looked for all money that he was going to win, but in the end he's been collared by his stable mate, or owner mate I should say, Shine On Brendan. Then over the top, Jack Hammer coming late to win for the 7th time on the flat, off his highest winning mark on the flat, and to cause something of a surprise at 33-1.
Yeah, co-owned by Margaret Coppola and the trainer Diane Sayre. Jack Hammer, as you can see, he's only got probably 2 behind him at this stage. Up front though, it is Shanaz the filly, who has won on 2 of her 3 previous visits to Hamilton Park. This is her 4th trip today. She goes on, and from at this moment Havana Party in second, with the white cap, that Shine On Brendan, and then you go all the way back. Ravenglass is held up last, and Golden Valor's out the back as well, and third last at this point with the white cap. That's a eventual winner.
Yeah, we'll just watch him through. You can see Shanaz has got a clear lead at this point. I think Laura Coughlin just tries to steady things down coming down the hill, just trying to get a breather in, Shanaz. And although Havana Party went on and took his measure fairly early enough up the home straight, she has battled on.
Yeah.
She has stuck to her task, having been swallowed up, I think, probably about the 3rd furlong pole. But you can see Paul Mulrennan just biding his time, still third last, upsides, or Ravenglass just upsides him as the field starts to bunch. It was just a case of this stage of Paul Mulrennan making sure he got the right horse to follow through, and you can see he's just about got the gaps, doesn't he, to follow through Havana Party, who's gone on at this stage, and the gap has eventually opens up.
I thought about this moment he may have been stuck in a pocket.
Yeah, it looked that way. Paul's just having to sit and suffer as Havana Party's gone, and I think he's probably just gone on a little bit or found himself in front just plenty early enough, Gordon, because here he looks to be at home for all money. Shine On Brendan does take an age or a while to get to him and eventually run him out for second, but once he's in the clear, Jack Hammer winning here at Hamilton Park for the first time. Of course, a horse whose last 4 wins have all come at Carlisle.
Yeah.
He's perhaps got himself a name as a bit of a Carlisle specialist, but he's now got a win here at Hamilton Park to go with Ayr and Salisbury as well, and that's very much a return to form, Gordon, because if you wind the clock back 6 weeks to his most recent racecourse outing, where did he finish? Last of 10 in a handicap hurdle at Perth. He's bounced back to form here, returned to the flat.
And you can see Paul Mulrennan, and he has to bring him probably 3 or 4 wide, but he does pick up. There's never any danger he wasn't going to get there either. What about the run of Ravenglass today?
Yeah, well, he was held up behind, wasn't he? Right at the back of the field. Jack Hammer's proved that was no barrier to success. He's not been beaten all that far. I think he's probably run okay, Gordon, but I don't necessarily know if he's a winner waiting to happen, do you?
No. And Shine On Brendan and Havana Party, you would imagine it's just a matter of time before Shine On Brendan adds to those 5 handicap wins that he gained last year, including 3 times here.
You would think so. He's run well on several occasions.
Today, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's run well enough again here. He's back off that same mark now, isn't he, that he won his final one of those 5 handicaps last year. It did come here. That was off a mark of 65. That's the mark he's down to now. You'd like to think that there's going to be a race drop his way soon. He certainly, the way he's shaped and run here, suggests he's right at the peak of his powers at the minute.
The 4th came at Fakenham, and a 3rd came at Southall, both on good ground, so the ground should suit her. Green or black, Neil Mulholland's mare, the grey, under Ed Rees, who takes off the 3 kilos, has got some point-to-point form, green or black, but does does need to step up on anything she's shown under rules so far. Rhyme Scheme. Alison Clark takes the 3 kilos off for Peter Winks. Rhyme Scheme, not out of it on her best form. She was decent on the level. Hasn't really translated that to hurdles yet. She was actually well beaten when falling last time out, so that's not a great profile coming into this, but she has got some form on the flat. I think I've mentioned all of the others, and number 1, Rose of Siena, is still our favourite here. Nicky Richards is mare. Nicky Richards, as we said, he's had 3 winners from his last 3 runners, and Rose of Siena ran a nice race on her reappearance, having had a wind-up, and that was last time out at Perth. I'm going to stick with my original selection, number 5, Nooney, who was very capable on the level, rated 70 on the flat. But she was beaten about 10 lengths last time out over hurdles, but she makes her handicap debut here off quite a tempting mark. Don't rule out Donald McCain's mare, Tough as Old Boots. His daughter Abby takes the 2 kilos off that one, a winner on her penultimate start at Carlisle. And the other one with obvious claims is Richard Bandy's filly, number 4, Shipton Moyne, who's also a handicap debutant and was a winner on debut, and that was a really good performance. So yeah, plenty in with chances here. It won't be long before they make a line. They are just circling at the post. The market leader still number 1, Rose of Siena, despite carrying top weight here. She has got a very tempting profile, 3rd at Perth on her first start, having had a wind-up prior to that, and that was a really good performance. So Shipton Moyne's win actually came at Market Raisin, but when you looked at she's rated 44 on the flat, Shipton Moyne, and my selection, Nooney, rated 70 on the level. I know that the hurdles can make a huge difference, but I just think at some point Nooney is going to translate her flat form to jumping. She's making her handicap debut here. She's still unexposed, but it looks like they're all getting into some sort of line now down at the post. So let's get across to our on-course commentator here at Utopster. It's Richard Hoyles.
In sequence, thought they were going to do it at Southall with me on Tuesday, but didn't quite. Ruby's Pearl, interesting just because of the colours. Sometimes they have attracted a little bit of support, so it wouldn't surprise me if that horse ran okay. And Rocco Molly, just been spec'd at big prices, but nothing on that handicap debut at Kelso. So runners are at the start, going change to good after the 3rd race. So it must have been good all afternoon because obviously it hasn't rained or anything. Had a walk round, and a bit like Southall, they've done a good job watering, put quite a lot on. Pretty certain they watered this morning as well, and as a result it's good jumping ground. We just have a lot of fixtures at this time, and of course it's not just ground on the racecourse that limits fields at this time. It can be quite hard for some trainers to get sufficient work into these horses during a prolonged warm spell. So Rose of Siena heads to the market 15 to 8. I think that's justified, but you're not getting anything massively overs. Lucky Draw, Tough as Old Boots and Ruby's Pearl all priced at 5 to 1. Flags raised. Flags raised here for this Chasetown Civil Engineering Mares Handicap Hurdle Contest. They start at the entrance to the home straight. The first flight they'll only take once, and then they'll join the racecourse proper and jump a further 8, and they're off and racing. The grey, green or black is one of the first to show, along with the black and white colours of Shipton Moyne, who is a confirmed front runner. Black with the white spots and the cerise cap is Ruby's Pearl, just ahead of the market leader Rose of Siena in the yellow sleeves as they prepare to leave the ground for the first time. Tough as Old Boots rose in 5th, just ahead of Nooney. And then we have right was Rocco Molly, the 2 in yellow and green, and held up at the back deliberately, but early on is Lucky Draw. So Shipton Moyne has the early lead as they head up the home straight towards the second. Shipton Moyne over in the lead, all over safely. Rose of Siena on the inside of green or black, within 4th place on the outside Ruby's Pearl. Just amongst horses, getting a little bit closer, is Rhyme Scheme. It's the horse in the green and yellow, making ground up on the inside. And the blue jacket of Tough as Old Boots in the noseband under Abby McCain from Nooney. And they're well grouped as they popped over that with Rocco Molly, and towards the back still Lucky Draw. Short run till they encounter the 4th. Shipton Moyne has the lead from Green or Black the Grey. Ruby's Pearl over on the near side, and the far side Rose of Sienna fill the first 4 places. In 5th is Rhyme Scheme in green and yellow as they make their way past us. So out in the lead, in the black and white, Shipton Moyne, the grey horse, a green or black on the outside of the yellow sleeve jacket of Rose of Sienna. Then Ruby's Pearl, who's wide on the course in that bright pink cap, just ahead of the blue with the yellow diamond, or green of the yellow diamond of Rhyme Scheme. Blue alongside is Tough as Old Boots with Nooney in red and white. And then behind these we have Rocco Molly and the maroon jacket of Lucky Draw, who's still being held up deliberately at this stage, it would appear, at the back. However, Rocco Molly, Connor Rabbit just pushing along slightly. That horse just beginning to struggle slightly as they race their way towards the first in the back. Shipton Moyne from Green or Black. On the inside, Rose of Sienna jumps up travelling well. Ruby's Pearl just inclined to hang. Given a slap down the neck there by Harrison Beswick to keep her on the straight and narrow. She is being followed through by Rhyme Scheme with Tough as Old Boots and Nooney. And now Lucky Draw has passed 1, and that is the pushed along Rocco Molly. So take this fight and then a long run to the third last. Shipton Moyne, Green or Black. On the outside, Ruby's Pearl and Rose of Sienna at the front quartet. Behind these, Nooney just pushed along. Tough as Old Boots has lost a bit of ground. And now one from the back as improving Lucky Draw is making some progress now in the maroon colours on the wide outside for Jay Tidball. And still at the back of the pack we have Rocco Molly. So still on this long run, they yet to exit the back straight, begin to make the turn now towards the third last. And it's Shipton Moyne who has the lead. In second is Green or Black. Third place disputed by Rose of Sienna on the inside of Nooney. Ridden along now is Ruby's Pearl. All the time Lucky Draw is picking them off one by one. Goes now past Ruby's Pearl, who's back in 6th. Then Rhyme Scheme, Tough as Old Boots being ridden, and Rocco Molly is struggling. So we have a leading group of about half a dozen. And Green or Black under Edward Rees. The old boys got there travelling pretty well at the moment as they head towards the first in the home straight. From in second place Nooney, Shipton Moyne, then Rose of Sienna, and still improving his Lucky Draw in the maroon colours, who's made steady progress now right through the field and is pursuing Green or Black towards the second last. Edward Rees casts a glance behind and we'll see that Lucky Draw and Jay Tidball are beginning now to close. At the back of the pack, pulled up Rocco Molly, pulled up as well Ruby's Pearl. So this is 2 from the finish. Lucky Draw challenging Green or Black as they head down towards the last. Green or Black on the right hand side, the grey. Lucky Draw is now being ridden and Green or Black is pulling out a little bit more. They're clear from Nooney and down towards the last. Green or Black stands narrowly in front from Lucky Draw in second place. Up the run-in. Lucky Draw coming at Green or Black as they head inside the final 100 yards. Lucky Draw, Green or Black on the inside, very close between the two, and Green or Black will give Edward Rees his first winner, and a welcome winner for Neil Mulholland. Punches the air, saw off Lucky Draw. They're a mile clear. Inside the grey, Lucky Draw is now being ridden, and Green or Black is pulling.
Well, what a great performance there by numbers.
Last sort of roll of the dice leading up to the Hollywood Bets Durban July, the horses that'll be aiming to get in. I think the Hollywood Bets Dolphins Cup trials very intriguing, very complex as well, with Rockpool being one horse aiming to get into the July. Litigation, Cape Eagle, Winchester Mansion, Quasi for sure, although I have a question mark whether he'll go 2,200 metres. Shoemaker, another one who's probably just on the periphery. So it's a cup final for all of those. None of those horses are sort of cast in stone. Even Flying Bull holds an entry into the Hollywood Bets Durban July. So, I think the Hollywood Bets Cup trial, the Dolphins Cup trial, is a very complex race. I don't have much of a feel for the East Coast Radio Tibushina Stakes, I must be honest. I'll have to spend a bit more time with that. Marigold Hotel's interesting, but has a deep draw. And here's a fact, Brandon, and it's something that doesn't happen too often, but as far as I know, these 3 horses flew into Durban as opposed to taking the float. There were Rockpool, who runs in the Cup trial, Going Up, who runs in the Tibushina Stakes, and also Royal Aussie, who runs in the Hollywood Bets Gold Challenge. Obviously, when you just look at the Gold Challenge, Cousin Casey, Rascallion, Trip of Fortune, Charles Dickens, Almutana, Safe Passage, not too sure about Bingwa, Do It Again, and Zapatilis. Those are all horses who have been down in Durban for a while, so, the plane obviously wasn't taking off in time to suit those. But interesting that Royal Aussie, Going Up, and also Rockpool have been prepped in Cape Town leading up into this meeting, and let's see how the different style of travelling works. I mean, you and I both know, having gone on the bus to Kimberley, that it's a lot easier flying in and out of Kimberley than it is taking the bus. And obviously new turf carriers run an incredibly slick machine between all the sensors, and I know they still had a hand in loading the horses in Cape Town, unloading them, and also Rockpool have been prepped in Cape Town leading up into this meeting. Let's see how the
318 at Crayford, Hare running, Bacon trap 6, Racing Post with 2 to beat 5, race 6 on the card, and A8 favourite trap 2, Bantier Lady. Crayford Racing 4 in front of 1, 3, 5 and 2, 1 now leads 4, then 5, 3 and 2 at the first 2 bends, 4 Met Crowding and 5 leads 1, 4, 2 and 3, Borough Minstrel, Sweet Soul Music, then Bartholomew, Bantier Lady, Chasm Bubbles, end of the back straight, 2 meets Crowding, 5 in front by 2 lengths from 1, then 4, 2 and 3, 5 moves up, Borough Minstrel still in front, joined by 2 Bantier Lady, 5 maybe over 2, Judge will need to split them, 4 was closer up, Bartholomew Vic.
Out trading at 22 to 10 in the market. I certainly believe that everything points to this daughter of What a Winter being the right one. Samanga Kamalo now gets the right drawn one. I thought a decent effort behind Funky Music last time out, but I'm saying that I think she's a much better horse around the turn, and she gets that today. Just having a look at that draw, it's a big positive. There's no doubt that when you've got the draw around the bend on the classic track or on the inside track at Turfentine, it's always a big plus, and you've got half the battle won. Smunga will probably try and get 1 or 2 to cover her up, and let's hope that this can win for the World Sports Betting team, and of course for Sandy and Eugene Arundel. They've also got many horses around the country, and they'll be screaming home Mabaneng over here to become a 3-time winner. So I'm going with her to get out of jail. That will be my selection in the lucky last at 22 to 10. I'm really prepared to go and have a bet on the nose. I can't see anything wrong with 22 to 10. In fact, I think there's a little bit of value around her. I thought she would have started a bit short in the region of 15, 16 to 10. This combination, powerful, Samanga Kamala and Sean Terry, and I'm hoping they can wrap up what's been a good day at the Val this afternoon. So I'm going Mabaneng. There's been a bit of money around for Call the Wind as well, who will be there and thereabouts, I'm sure. She didn't do too much wrong last time out. Coming back in trip, I think, is going to suit Call the Wind, and she might have a big chance. Just hoping that everything goes all right, because I see she wasn't striding out last time out behind Quasi's Lady, but dropping trip speed should be a bit more genuine. Call the Wind will be there when the whips are cracking. And then Speechmaker's very interesting. I see Brian Yowell's now picked up the ride. This is a 10 to 1. This could be the each way value. Was taken to Durban on the 26th of May on the Poly track. Did win a good race. I know dead heated on that occasion, but they pulled a few lengths clear of the third place runner. This is her game, 14.50 around the bend. If Brian can just get this horse to settle, get 1 or 2 to cover as well. She likes to be sat on as long as possible, Speechmaker. She's got a short run in. If everything works out, 10 to 1 could be a big price about number 7, Speechmaker. So perhaps I'd include her into the play as well. And then Heather's other horse has also got a big chance. Give Me the Flame. Craig Zaki, he's full of confidence this afternoon. He's had a good day at the office. 2 good runs to date. It's last 2 runs. And also needs some cover and a bit of luck from what looks to be a tricky stall gate. All right, so they're loading up. I'm not going to bore you with everything else. I'm going straight on the nose over here. I'm prepared to take my chances. I'm going Mabaneng as my win bet. Ali, thank you very much for your help throughout the afternoon. We've switched roles. You're now in the commentator's chair, doing a fine job as always, and we look forward to hearing from you again from PE tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Brandon. Pleasure spending most of the afternoon with you. And to those who have been trying to reach out to Nico, I'm sure he'll get back to you in the coming days. Here's Fascinata now stepping forward. Storm Jewel, Godfather Winton. Gimme the Flame. Gregor McGregor will be the last one. So Storm Jewel's the one they're currently working with. Vet wants to have a look at number 11, Fascinata. Gimme the Flame. Gregor McGregor will be the last one. So Gregor McGregor's the one that's not loaded while the vet has a look at Fascinata. Wants to have a look at number 11 Fascinata. She's not enjoying the encouragement from behind. And now she's taken away from the stalls. Scratch 11, Intractable, Fascinata and non-runner. So Gregor McGregor will be up to complete the lineup now. Just about ready. All set. And away they go. United Express needed a bit of riding in the early stages. Godfather from a deep draw takes his medicine, drops out to last. It's Speechmaker, who got out well. Gregor McGregor will match her in the early stages. Then comes Maboneng in the orange and blue, hugging the rail and 2 lengths off the leader. Then came Gimme the Flame, 2 lengths away to Call the Wind, who's a bit eager. Then came United Express, Storm Jewel, races 1 from last, and Godfather at the back of the field. 8 lengths in it to the top of the straight. They went past the 1,000, and Gregor McGregor went past Speechmaker, who took a drop in second. Then comes Maboneng, teed up well on the leader's back on the inside in third. Then comes Gimme the Flame, Call the Wind, round onto heels, races about 4 lengths from the leader. Then came United Express, Godfather and Storm Jewel.
It's her a solid each-way chance.
And Gregor McGregor just allowed to lengthen in front now by 2 over Speechmaker. Maboneng still well poised. Then came Call the Wind, Gimme the Flame is in the blue with the yellow spots. Godfather matches Call the Wind towards the inside. Races 4 lengths off the leader and making gains, but with 300 metres left to go. Gregor McGregor the one in front over Maboneng. Godfather's up the inside. Then comes Call the Wind. Maboneng attacks Gregor McGregor, who sticks to his task. 150 left to run. Gregor McGregor finds over Maboneng, who's got...
Johan rode this horse or drove this horse.
Maboneng driving up to Gregor McGregor to photo. Maboneng or Gregor McGregor, Godfather third, and then came Storm Jewel. Tight, Maboneng and Gregor McGregor.
Away for this DWJ Wealth Management Handicap Hurdle, and looks like Jack Tudor is going to try and repeat his winning front-running tactics aboard a Bayer de Mathan, this time riding Astigar, the grey, leads early to Jen's Boy in second, Halifax in third, and Loved Out last of the 4, and as they run towards the first flight. First of 12, pretty much 2 circuits of the course in front of them. Astigar over in front from Jen's Boy, then Halifax and Loved Out as they move on towards the middle of the 3 flights in the back straight. Astigar by 3 or 4 lengths. Jen's Boy reappearing after a bit of a break, probably waiting for the better ground. Then Halifax on the outside, second at Warwick, a lot more recently, and Loved Out at the back of the field, who 2 starts ago was second to Rock the House, who runs later on here, so a win for Loved Out would certainly be a boost to that form. The form of Rock the House's win. Over the next, Astigar, Jen's Boy, Halifax and Loved Out. Running towards the end of the back straight. More recently, and Loved Out on towards the 3 in the home straight. This time will be flights 4, 5 and 6, and it's the sizable grey Astigar, who is related to the great stable stalwart at David Pipe's Ramses Deteye. Astigar by 2.5 lengths or so to Jen's Boy, Halifax and Loved Out. Towards the 3 in the home straight. This time will be into the home straight this time. Well over a circuit still to travel. There's 3 miler. Astigar and Jack Tudor. Jack Tudor and David Pipe already looking a fairly formidable combination. Jen's Boy on the inside for the Midland Park Racing team, having a lot of good flat horses running at the moment. Midland Park, Halifax
close up under Connor Ring and Loved Out and Isabel Williams. On towards flight number 6.
Already looking a fairly formidable combination. Jens Boy on the inside.
Astigar over by about 3 lengths to Jens Boy. Halifax, a couple of lengths back in third, and finally Loved Out as they race in front of the stands then with a circuit left to go, and heart on his sleeve, Astigar leading the way from Jens Boy in second. Halifax, the favourite to win this, in third place, and then 4 lengths to Loved Out. They turn away towards the back. Halifax having gone off just a shade above even money. Astigar, Jens Boy, Halifax very much being held together in third place there. And then Loved Out also weighted with.
In third place, and then 4 lengths to Loved Out.
On to the next.
They turn away towards the back.
Astigar now being joined by Jens Boy. Jens Boy moving right alongside the long-time leader, going to that flight. Then Halifax just a length and a half, 2 lengths down in third. 3 lengths then to Loved Out. On to the next. Jens Boy just putting a bit of pressure on Astigar, who got a pretty easy lead early on.
On to the next.
Halifax third, Loved Out.
Now being joined by Jens Boy.
And they move on now towards the last flight in the back straight. This is 4 out. They are approaching the grey Astigar, Jens Boy on the outside.
On to the next.
Then Halifax, and Loved Out got a shake of the reins on landing there from Isabel Williams. So into this turn now, and very much all to play for amongst these 4 runners. Maybe Loved Out the first just to get woken up a little, but within 4 lengths of the leader, which is still Astigar, Jens Boy drew level. Starting down the back straight, still right there, breathing down the leader's neck. On the inside, no move yet from Halifax and Connor Ring, and then Loved Out. About to turn into the home straight, 3 flights left to jump. Astigar, Jens Boy to the outside. Just being nudged along now by Nico de Boinville. Halifax moving up well on the inside as they jump 3 out. Astigar slightly through the top, didn't really land running there, and Jens Boy's right on turn. Halifax trying to get through between them, has just had to bully his way through, and then back behind them is Loved Out, and now it's Jens Boy and Halifax that go on together. Astigar can't go with them. Here is the second last. Jens Boy up just first from Halifax in second. They're clear. Loved Out moving into third place. Astigar is weakening away and racing on now towards the final flight is Jens Boy with Halifax coming back for more on the inside. The last jump, both jump it pretty well. Jens Boy on the near side, Halifax on the far side. They fight it out neck and neck all the way up towards the line. Halifax just doing better now from Jens Boy, and Halifax is going on to justify favouritism. From in second, Jens Boy, third, Loved Out, and finally Astigar.
A couple of slightly below par runs after that, but certainly he went through that race at York like a horse who would strip fitter for it and come on for it, and if he does, then I think this mark in 97, I think he could well be the best handicap horse in the race.
The second favourite is Edward Cornelius for Keith Douglas, who's also got Soldier's Minute in the race, and it was a good effort, I thought, here last time, over 5 furlongs by Edward Cornelius up there, forcing the pace before going under by just half a length in third place behind the 6 furlong course record holder Jordan Electrics. He's got winning form at Thurskov, a mark of 85, which is pretty similar to today's, Ed, but I'm just a bit worried about the 6 furlongs today.
Yeah, that would be my concern. He's a horse who's not short of boot, and he was the horse that helped to put the pace to this race, teeing things up for a banging form Jordan Electrics. He's really come roaring back to his best for Jim Goldie this season, and this was a good run. It was certainly a step forward on his a slightly underwhelming return to action at Musselburgh in the Sunday Series at the end of April. Good run, as I say, behind Jordan Electrics here, where he's only went down by a pair of necks as well in third place. Off just a £1 lower mark, so every reason to think that he will be competitive off this kind of mark, but I just, like you, Gordon, I just think he's perhaps better at the Bear 5 than he is the stiff 6 here.
Both his wins have certainly come at 5 furlongs. That's number 5, Edward Cornelius. And another piece of form that might well be pertinent to finding the winner of this race. Number 7, Walking on Clouds. 16 days ago, winning by a neck at Ayr. Soldier's Minute was in behind, beaten not far, beaten about a length. It was only over a length separating the first 6 home this day in a bunch finish. And this was Ollie Stammers riding out his £3 allowance.
Yeah, you can see Soldier's Minute out a bit on the flank, just starting to get nudged along, but Walking on Clouds, who was sent off at a fairly big price on this occasion. He travelled well into the race, found plenty to win in a bunch finish, winning for the first time on turf for these connections as well. He'd done all his 5 previous wins for this yard since coming over from Ireland were all on the all-weather. This was the highest mark he's won off. Also with that, Ollie Stammers losing his £3 claim, he's effectively £4 higher. So this does demand more from him, Gordon, but the quick round was attributed to this improved performance on this occasion, and I think he's a player here off. Even though he's up in grade this afternoon, he just comes here absolutely in the top of his form, and I thought around 8 to 1. I think he's a reasonable each way bet. If you're not keen to take the 5 to 4 on Kanjar, now he's tightened up right the way through the day, and you might be looking for something else at a bigger price. And I think Walking on Clouds will run pretty well.
Clay's third favourite now is Snash. Been a bit of support for Snash. Eddie's horse unbeaten in 2 starts on the all-weather, 2 wins in turf. Probably forgive him the last run, which was over 7 furlongs at Thirsk, and his comeback came over this trip on heavy ground at Thirsk as well back in May.
Yeah, there are reasons to overlook his sort of disappointing runs of late, if you like, Gordon. Both this season, as you say, 7 furlongs at Thirsk. All 4 of his career wins have come over 6 furlongs, and it was heavy ground the time before that, and also on his final run of last season as well. I think good ground is probably what suits him ideally, and you can see where the supporters come from, because he won the Ayr Gold Cup trial, that new race they have at Ayr midsummer. He won that off a £4 higher mark last year, so he may well be seen to better effect under these more suitable conditions now.
And Aklam Express, he's a horse that he's got limited, he's won 3 of his 22 starts on turf, and his last run actually came at Haydock Park in a good race over 5 furlongs.
Yeah, that was the Temple Stakes. He was soundly beaten there, Gordon, but you only have to wind the clock back to last summer when at a big price he finished 3rd in the Nature Strip, the Aussie behemoth at Royal Ascot, so he's certainly a player on his best form. Tongue strap on first time. I just wonder, a bit like Edward Cornelius, all of his wins have come at 5 furlongs so far, Gordon. Dropping into the handicap for the second time, that is a drop in grade for him. That for all this is a 0 to 105, but again, he is a pacey horse, and I'm not sure whether a stiff 6 furlongs here will necessarily play to his strengths.
Feature race of the afternoon then here at Hamilton Park. Let's go back to Darren.
Thanks, Gordon. Yeah, good race coming up. So, Call Me Ginger, making his 3rd appearance in this race, goes forward. That will just leave Jump the Gun to load into stall number 4 for this, the Sodexo Live at Hamilton Park Clyde handicap. It's over 6 furlongs, and they're all in. They're off. Kanjar was the last one to break, and Away Smartly is Walking on Clouds to the near side running rail. The black and yellow jacket of Call Me Ginger showing up prominently and with speed. Edward Cornelius. It's Edward Cornelius, Call Me Ginger, and Walking on Clouds. They're being chased by Jump the Gun, and then comes Snash, Aklam Express, Soldier's Minute, and Kanjar are the last 2 as they make the run down the hill towards the halfway point. It's Call Me Ginger and Walking on Clouds. Green sleeves to the left is Edward Cornelius, the leading few, followed by Jump the Gun. Aklam Express is away to the left. Soldier's Minute being pushed along. Snash is coming under pressure. Jump the Gun's under pressure. Kanjar is widest of all Blue Jacket to try and make progress now as they meet the rising ground and inside the final quarter of a mile, and it is Walking on Clouds, Edward Cornelius, Aklam Express. Kanjar is down the centre of the course with a big run as they run down towards the last furlong. It's Edward Cornelius and Joe Fanning, and has a couple of lengths on Kanjar, then Jump on Clouds. So it's Edward Cornelius, but Kanjar finishing the race off nicely. Edward Cornelius is not for stopping, however, and it's a Joe Fanning double. Edward Cornelius beats Kanjar. They were several lengths clear of Walking on Clouds. Snash and Soldier's Minute dispute 4th.
Yeah, there you go. Locally trained horse, this winner. Edward Cornelius, Keith Dalgleish completes a double here with Joe Fanning completes a double on a Keith Dalgleish trained winner. Edward Cornelius been up there the whole way. Canjar up the centre of the course, only second today. Walking on Clouds, I think, is finished in third. We'll just wait for the minor placings there, but it is it's the third win in the career of Edward Cornelius, Ed, and the first at 6 furlongs.
He did, and there was never really any concerns about him seeing out the trip, was there? He was given a front end ride by Joe Fanning. He was challenged wide by Canjar, who took a bit of stoking up, as can be his one. He's finished off his race well enough, but Edward Cornelius, you can see, got himself quite warm in the prelims, but he's seen it out really well. Had run well over this course and distance before, Gordon, in the Scottish Stewards Cup behind Rathbone. I think that was last summer, wasn't it? But he's seen it out right to the line, and really Canjar, for all that he's run well and come clear of the rest, never really looked quite getting to him.
The three that broke quickest, well, the winner with the green sleeves is bang there. Walking on Clouds is disputing in. There's eventually Call Me Ginger that settles down to be a clear leader. If you look to the left, you'll see there Jim Crowley's out the back, up the centre. He's not happy even at this early stage. Maybe coming down the hill.
Yeah, that may have been something. He may have been a new experience for him, but he certainly early doors he was just given a few nudged into the bridle by Jim Crowley. Be interested if we can find out from him what his thoughts were, whether he did handle the hill or not. But he didn't go through the early part of the race with the kind of zest certainly that Edward Cornelius did. You see, really motoring along in a good rhythm for Joe Fanning on the outside of Call Me Ginger, who started to backpedal here now. He's a spent force. Walking on Clouds went through the race with a fair bit of zest, but Edward Cornelius, when he's been sent on by Joe Fanning, has managed to put some fairly clear daylight between him and the rest. Canjar, to his credit, has stuck to his guns, Gordon, and it does suggest to me this run that he remains a well-handicapped horse, perhaps back on a more conventional track.
Jim Crowley said to me beforehand as well, they've tried him 2 or 3 times at 7 furlongs. Do you think maybe a step up in trip might work?
Yeah, potentially.
He's finished.
I'd be inclined to. I'd like to see him back on a flat track in a big field handicap again. Good pace to aim at. I think that's maybe where somewhere like Ascot you could see, maybe
he's in the walking.
That may well be the obvious place to go with him now. 7 furlongs is perhaps something could be explored with him further. I'm just not sure if he's handled that hill. If we can grab a quick word with Jim Crowley afterwards, we'll try to find out. But certainly he's run well here, given how laboured he was during the early part of the race, to suggest that he can win a race off this mark.
The front two clear of in third place Walking on Clouds. I don't think disgraced after the win at Ayr.
No, not at all. He showed plenty of pace. He's held on for third. Soldier's Minute has finished off well as well. Did he get fourth Soldier's Minute?
Yes.
Yeah, and Akram Express, I think, back in fifth. I think he's run well enough. Again, he's on for career high mark now, isn't he? Walking on Clouds, but he's been a real success story for this yard, and I don't think this mark will necessarily prove beyond him.
So Edward Cornelius then winning for the third time in his career. Previous wins came at 5. He wins, Tom, for the first time over 6 furlongs. Joe Fanning completes a double on a horse trained locally to these parts by Keith Dalgleish. Edward Cornelius.
Yeah, he did that nicely. Canjar, well, I suppose on the face of it in previous form, just a touch disappointed, but it has run with credit and tried to make up ground at quite a hot part of the race, I thought, as well. But Edward Cornelius in the right position and probably just going away from Canjar at the line as well. 11-2. 5-4 favourite was second. Walking on Clouds was third at 9-1, a length the winning distance.
Edward Cornelius.
Winning time was, we can compare it as well to our first two, 109.93. It's good time, 0.13 outside. We have updated time 2 as well.
Last summer as well, on similar ground, beaten 7 lengths and third at Worcester as well. So she's got some consistent form. She'll love the ground. The change they're going to good here now. They've obviously done a great job of watering this track. It's good ground all round, and but I think that number 4, Annie Nail, certainly does have a great chance, and there she is in shot. The grey is number 1, Cotton End. She does need to step forward on what she's shown recently, but if you look back in her form, she is a course winner. So don't rule her out entirely. She obviously likes it here. She's won 5 times over hurdles. She hasn't won over fences yet, but she has won here at the track, which might stand her in good stead. She's got top weight, which isn't ideal, but if you look at her best form and her best course form, you can make a case for number 1, Cotton End. She's not out of this. She's actually been quite a good servant to Connection. She's won 5 times, as I say. She did pull up at Foss last seen in action back in April, but she's run some quite nice races recently. She was 3rd at Ludlow in March, and that was a solid performance, beating about 3 lengths. She likes to sit handy in her races. She might even make the running, so interesting Cotton End, 3.5 there, as you can see. Nibbled at number 3, Stamina Choke, who, again, Lee Edwards' mount, has got some bits of form to recommend. Did finish 4th at Huntingdon last time out, beaten about 3.5 lengths there. Was 5th at Wincanton prior to that. Stopped quite quickly that day, and was 3rd at Market Racing in February, only beaten about 7 lengths. So yeah, she's quite a consistent sort. She jumps nicely, and she will like the ground as well. So you can make a case for Stamina Choke, Dave Roberts' mare, in the blue colours with the green stars. So Annie Nail, number 4, is the market leader. Number 1, Cotton End, and number 3, Stamina Choke, have been nibbled at bigger prices. The outsider, number 5, Talking the Talk, really and honestly does need to step up on what he's shown so far. I know we had a big prize winner in our last race here with green or black, but Talking the Talk, some poor form, and hasn't really shown anything worthwhile so far. Actually, the trainer, Sheila Lewis, runs Cotton End, number 1, and that's definitely a first string, I would say. So it won't be long before they make a line here. Number 4, Annie Nail, is the market leader. I quite like number 1, Cotton End, already a course winner, and I think that'll stand her in good stead. Could be a little bit of value. Perhaps 4 to beat 1 would be the exacta to have here, but the starters on his rostrum. Let's get the call.
This is only 2.5 miles, so slightly shorter than our previous chase, and that means they don't jump the first of the ones in the back, so there's 1 less fence, 15, and they jump away. The Sheila Lewis pair well to the fore.
I quite like number 1, Cotton End, already a course winner, and I think that'll stand her in good stead. Could be a little bit of value.
Place, and then Annie Nail, as Talking the Talk arrives at the first. Talking the Talk over safely as they swing right-handed and head on towards the second. Talking the Talk leading Cotton End, Stamina Chope in 3rd place, and Annie Nail last of the 4. As Talking the Talk is sitting a reasonable pace here, she rises in the lead. Cotton End is 2 lengths further back. Annie Nail jumped up alongside Stamina Chope as they make their way just over this short rise, then run downhill, a little bit of a left-hand turn, and then we'll reach fence number 3. Talking the Talk at the moment has the lead. Cotton End in 2nd place, Stamina Chope in 3rd, Annie Nail last of the quartet of runners. Now they're all over that. Cotton End's rider, Finn Lambert, briefly took 1 hand off the reins, but carries on safely as Talking the Talk leads by 3 lengths out of the back straight first time. So a long way to go, Talking the Talk. Certainly been a reasonable gallop though, leading from Cotton End in 2nd. Cotton End in turn is about 3 to 4 lengths ahead of Stamina Chope, and Annie Nail, the back marker, would still be a good 8 to 10 lengths off the leader here as they head on towards the fourth. Talking the Talk over in the lead. Cotton End, a little bit skew whiff in the air for Stamina Chope. Annie Nail still just held onto by Philip Armstrong at the back of the quartet. This is the open ditch. They'll take it twice, take off board just a little bit ahead of the fence, and Talking the Talk was cautious over it, and that allows Cotton End to close. That between them is only just over a length, with Stamina Choke towards the left-hand side and Annie Nail still last of the 4. This is number 6 of the 15. Talking the Talk over from Cotton End, Stamina Choke and Annie Nail. So the 4 runners still travelling well within themselves, it would appear. Talking the Talk, not so far clear, the whole field a little bit more compact than they were when they entered the home straight. Talking the Talk from Cotton End, Annie Nail didn't get overly high there, just brushed through the top. Economy of effort on the inside of Stamina Chope. So the leader passing us is Talking the Talk in the red with the white stars and the maroon cat, the grey horse, similar jacket, same ownership, black cat with a white star in second is Cotton End. Stamina Chope, pale blue. Douglas Bradbury and Dave Roberts, Lee Edwards aboard, and the Racehorse Ownership Club's Annie Nail under Phil Armstrong at the back as they make their way towards the first down the back. This is 8 from the finish. Talking the Talk over from Cotton End. Annie Nail jumped up and is travelling strongly at the moment, just under a little bit of restraint as she wants to go a little bit faster. She jumped her way into contention there, possibly a shade earlier than the rider wanted. Stamina Chope on the other flank. Talking the Talk is over from Cotton End, Stamina Chope and Annie Nail. Midway down the back straight, 6 fences to take in this Glenhall Wealth Management Mares Handicap Steeplechase. And towards the next fence, Talking the Talk from Cotton End, Annie Nail and Stamina Chope, and the whole field are now covered by round about 4 lengths. So they'll make this left-hand turn, carry them towards the last in the back straight, which is 5 from the finish, and they have just about 3/4 of a mile to run from this point. Talking the Talk, the outsider, has made every single yard. Cotton End with Annie Nail now moving significantly closer on the inside, red and the white diamonds, and again jumps herself right up air on the inside of the grey horse, Cotton End. Stamina Chope just pushed along, so we're beginning the home turn. Talking the Talk has the lead. Cotton End, Annie Nail and Stamina Chope, it's the order 2nd, 3rd and 4th, as they're now beginning the turn back towards the 4 fences up the home straight. Talking the Talk being asked for a little bit more. Annie Nail still travelling very strongly. Cotton End pulls towards the outside, and widest of all is Stamina Chope. This is 4 from the finish. Talking the Talk again on the inside. Annie Nail, she doesn't get overly high at her fences, but she's now just being asked to try and pick up and challenge Talking the Talk, who's running a big race here. She's still sticking on well. Cotton End and Stamina Chope have struggled to go with them. 3 from the finish. A better lead, but a pitch on landing by Annie Nail, who hasn't quite seen off Talking the Talk, who's proved a doughty adversary, and she is still battling on very bravely here as they race towards the second last. Annie Nail on the right, Talking the Talk on the left, still not much between them, about half a length or so. Cotton End back in 3rd, and then Stamina Chope down towards the last. Annie Nail, but Talking the Talk is really walking the walk at the moment, because she is fighting her way back, and she's going to have a narrow lead at the last. Talking the Talk is over from Annie Nail. Cotton End rallying in 3rd, but it's Talking the Talk for Sean Houlihan, who's finishing off the stronger here and has repelled the challenge of Annie Nail. Talking the Talk, Sean Houlihan and Sheila Lewis feed into 2nd. Annie Nail 1-3 for Sheila as Cotton End back in 3rd, and then Stamina Chope down towards the last. Annie Nail.
My word, another huge prize winner here at Uttoxeter, number 5, Talking the Talk, who had very little to recommend her. In fact, no form at all. Has gone in to beat number 4, Annie Nail, the favourite. So a boil over at Uttoxeter with number 5, Talking the Talk. The second big prize winner of the day there. And a good ride by Sean Houlihan. Talking the Talk jumped and travelled nicely on that quick ground. and has won race 4 in some style in the end. Just looking at the replay here again. Back in third was Cotton End, who I was thinking was the first string for Sheila Lewis, but she won with her other runner, number 5, Talking the Talk. First and third for the trainer. They are in the paddock at Fosslas though, so let's get and concentrate on what's ahead here at Fosslas. It's race 5, it's a handicap hurdle over the 3,184 metres. The market leader is number 1 Gavin, Peter Bowen's Gelding, Sean Bowen rides, and they team up with Gavin, who's but she won with her other runner, number 5, Talking the Talk. First and third for the trainer.
So Swindon, we can focus on this. Clenedon Flash, favourite for this race, and there, as if by magic, is the favourite, the white jackets. See if you like the look of this one. Clenedon Flash, currently at 6-4. Ran in open company at Toaster last time out. This is a local dog, but they do get around a bit, obviously, the ones that run in open races. But Clenedon Flash, a dog of loads of potential, hasn't run a huge amount, had a shortish career in Ireland before coming over to Britain in the last couple of months. It's just had the one run here in Britain at Toaster, 27th of May, just trials before that. All the other runs were in Ireland, but there were only about a dozen of them, so he's not over-raced. He's clearly got big potential to be a bit of a local favourite here at Swindon, especially if he gets off to a flying start here. We've got a couple of dogs from Oxford, which is not too far from Swindon, obviously. Mystical Messi, Trap 4, and Coppice Warrior in Trap 5. The others are all locals starting to go in. Mystical Messi, 15-8.